It's been a couple of weeks. Yeah, I took a little bit of vacation. It was funny. I took a break off like a week prior to that vacation. You guys are like, is he just going to like take time off? I went, no, I promise. I'm back in the saddle here. We're going to stay on track here. In fact, Draft2Digital just rolled out some information about their survey about artificial intelligence and licensing your content. They also have put the kibosh on a specific type of book. You are not going to be allowed to publish these types of books through them. Also, learn how to increase your book sales from the pros, and most recently, the Kindlepreneur announced a new feature in Publisher Rocket called the Reverse ASIN search. What does that mean? And is it a game changer? Spoiler alert, it is a game changer. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. All that in the self-publishing news for September 30th, 2024. And of course, before we jump on into things, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Book Award Pro. And because of them, I'm able to continue to do podcasts like this. I am super pumped up because during my vacation, I just got the notification that Self-Publishing for New Authors, my first book in my series of 12 books, has just been officially nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. If you're listening to this on the audio podcast, you won't see how big my smile is. Like, I am so pumped up that I've just been nominated for a Pulitzer Prize for one of my books. I never thought it would be possible, and it probably wouldn't have been possible because I never would have thought to even look, because Book Award Pro actually did it for me. They did everything. So this is a great way to curate some of the best book awards out there, as well as getting reviews. And by the way, there were some people that are like, you can't get free reviews through Book Award Pro. Yeah, you can. I literally opened up my dashboard the other day and had six opportunities for free reviews. So look, you don't even have to get Book Award Pro on the premium plan. I would recommend it because it's kind of nice. I use the pro plan myself because they submit everything for me. I don't need to worry about it. But you can get the free plan, get those reviews, those opportunities curated for you, find those free options, and then go apply for them. You're going to need to make sure you go back into your dashboard and check on a regular basis, because I didn't even know I had that many free reviews that would be available to me. You can be able to do that yourself as well, and potentially, hopefully, go after the Pulitzer Prize as well. I think the deadline on that's October 31st, or maybe it was 1st. One of the it's October sometime. I think it was October 31st now I think about it. But you can go ahead and get access to Book Award Pro over dalelinks.com/Book Award Pro. All right, now that we've paid the bills and we got all that out the way, let's start it out with the hot news from Draft2Digital. They've got content policy changes. Let me go ahead and read it verbatim here. We're writing to let you know that many of our global retail partners are taking steps to remove summary books from their store shelves, regardless of genre. To abide by the wishes of our partners, within the next several weeks, Draft2Digital will begin to remove previously published summary books from distribution. We also no longer accept the publication of new summary books. The reason why they're doing it is because of reader trust. Summary works often lead to reader confusion, as summary books can be mistaken for original works. Copyright concerns: a higher percentage of summary books are produced without permission from the original rights holder, and excessive inventory. The relative ease with which summary books can be produced, published, and distributed has led to an overabundance of summary books on retail shelves. If you remember, actually, it was a few weeks ago, KDP as well as Overdrive put their foot down. They were like, we're done with summary books. That's it. Now, if you're not familiar with summary books, it's kind of like Cliff Notes, essentially, where someone can, like, I don't know, Think and Grow Rich. They get a summary book of something like this. And, you know, an instance like that, public domain book, you're probably just fine. But when you're looking at, say, for instance, a book like, I don't know, one of mine, Amazon reviews for books, someone does a summary book. Well, if they didn't get permission, I have every ability to go over and strike them down. Although I don't know that I do. I'd be pretty flattered if somebody put out a summary book of my stuff. But nonetheless, it creates market confusion because a lot of these summary books are using the title to bring in that search traffic, and then people are just inadvertently buying these things and going, I didn't want a summary book. I wanted the actual book. So yeah, Draft2Digital's the third of the other two platforms that, among the other two platforms as well, that are, putting a stop to summary books. So if you're in the business and doing summary books, you may want to get out of the business and stop doing that altogether, unless you look at other sites that haven't banned it yet. But I imagine more sites are going to follow suit. IngramSpark did this back in 2020. Like, they were like, yeah, no more summary books. We're good on them. So it's interesting to see everybody follow suit now. Speaking of Draft2Digital, they actually did a survey about AI training. Now, unfortunately, I'd missed this piece of news a while back where D2D had sent out a survey. It was just a simple survey about artificial intelligence. And if authors were given the opportunity to license their books to train artificial intelligence, now would they? Now that's just kind of being oversimplified here about the actual survey itself. Well, oh my gosh. The entire indie author community got all up in arms because they were thinking that Draft2Digital was saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and start licensing your stuff. Do you want to do it? No. In fact, Chris Austin, the CEO of Draft2Digital, even states inside his piece, I know a lot of authors are eager to learn if D2D conducting an AI training survey meant that such a service was imminent. At this time, Draft2Digital will not offer AI rights licensing opportunities. Draft2Digital has always been dedicated to providing opportunities for authors. We also know that each of these opportunities need to be vetted properly. From the beginning, we've structured our terms of service to only grant the rights we need to distribute your works and nothing more. We cannot and will not make choices about your works for you. The stakes are high enough around AI licensing that we felt it was imperative to include the community as much as possible under decisions to offer these options or not. I sincerely thank you for your honest responses, and I personally read thousands of them. Please read the below post for lots of great information on what authors are thinking. Let me give the TLDR. People weren't happy about it. There was just a fraction of folks who were like, yeah, I'd be eager to do that. But yeah, it was pretty interesting, very eye-opening. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, just jumped the gun on that, assuming that Draft2Digital was going to be one of the ones jumping on the artificial intelligence bandwagon. They were just asking questions. Don't shoot the messenger. In fact, if you had watched the self-publishing roundtable that I did at the AuthorTube Writing Conference back in June, you will know that Chris Austin, as well as Mark Coker, both representatives from Smashwords and Draft2Digital, didn't have the most positive things to say about AI. They didn't. So if these authors that were freaking out in community forums as well as Facebook groups would pay attention to some of my videos, they would have known the intent behind this survey was to find out where you guys stand. So before anybody sends out a survey and you start freaking out and turning into Chicken Little, the sky's falling, relax. They were just asking a question, and it just kind of goes to show if you just answer the questions, you might actually get some answers from the company with a little bit more context. So crazy, just absolutely insane sometimes. Calm down, folks. All right, next up in the news here, Google Play Books is introducing countless pre-orders. It's now easier than ever to offer pre-orders on Google Play Books. Uploading your book's content file is no longer a requirement when creating a pre-order. So if you happen to be using Google Play Books Partner Center for distribution of your ebooks or your audiobooks, well, it looks like it's probably just for ebooks, excuse me. Yeah, it is for audiobooks as well, excuse me. You can actually set up the pre-order and you won't need the content. I know at a lot of platforms like say KDP or IngramSpark, they require some type of like a placeholder. And that has been fraught with some issues. There have been some instances, I know Mandy Lynn had shared some of her issues with IngramSpark previously where they ended up publishing the placeholder instead of her actual stuff after she'd even uploaded and updated those things. So Google Play Books looks like they're getting their act together. They're like, hey, you can do pre-orders, you won't need the content, but just make sure that you get that content put in. The file needs to be uploaded at least 3 days before your release date. So big shout out to Google Play Books Partner Center. Really cool to see that. All right. You want to increase your book sales? Miblart's got you covered. This is my preferred cover design services, and they've got 12 simple yet highly effective book marketing tips, and I'm going to blaze through these. Release your book in various formats, an audiobook, ebook, or print. Donate books to public places. Oh, I've been talking about little free libraries for a little bit now, and I'm actually currently doing a case study with the little free libraries, and I'm so excited to share some of those results relatively soon. But share them in public places. Start a blog. Add cliffhangers and book samples. Create a Pinterest board. Join Stuff Your Kindle Day. Now, I didn't know what Stuff Your Kindle meant. It says this event held several times a year offers readers free ebooks on Amazon. If you write a series, offering the first book for free can entice readers to return for the sequel. Very cool. Optimize your page with keywords. Brand your channels for a new release. Run a giveaway or contest. Collaborate with other authors. Engage with your readers and gather advanced reader copy reviews. Love all these tips. Big shout out to Miblart with all those tips here. Coming from Writer Beware, Victoria Strauss put out in a very insightful and interesting piece. I think every author that's spending any amount of time on social media needs to go and read this. It's called Wolves in Authors' Clothing, Beware Social Media Marketing Campaigns. Let me go ahead and give you the TLDR. There are folks that are doing outreach through direct messages to some authors. Now, we're obviously very public about the fact that we're authors. We got books to available. So they will automatically notice like, oh, dollar signs. And so they're reaching out to these authors, pretending to be like authors, and then trying to sell them on some services and such. And they're really coy about it. I've had a few of these happen, and I usually just send it straight to spam. I'm like, get out, no, I don't want your service. Just keep your service. So Victoria goes and breaks down some of the things that you need to be aware of, and even some real life scenarios, so that way you're a little bit more aware. So folks, keep your head on a swivel. If somebody reaches out to you through cold prospecting and DMs, chances are very likely their services are garbage. Good services don't need to do cold prospecting. They're usually spending more time doing their services than trying to reach out to people in DMs. And there's no exception to this rule, in my opinion. None. All right, IngramSpark, nominate your book today. They actually have this opportunity. It's free to you. Promote your book as part of a curated list sent to retailers, librarians, wholesalers, consumer-facing read and review sites, and more. And right now they are looking for themes in children's books, whether it's fiction and nonfiction books for children's and young adults. Nomination deadlines October 31st, 2024. And Native American heritage, children's and adult books written by authors of Native American heritage. That's on October the 31st as well. It's free to submit your book to those ones. So take a look at that. Link, of course, is in the show notes. All right, the big news coming out from the Kindlepreneur Dave Chesson just shared that Publisher Rocket just went through a massive new update, referred to as the Reverse ASIN search. Now, if you're not familiar, ASIN is Amazon Standard Identification Number. He usually calls it the ASIN, but when I worked in Amazon inside the warehouse, we called it ASIN. It's an ASIN. So either way, however you want to pronounce this, you can now find like a book on Amazon's marketplace, grab the ASIN for that book, plop into the Publisher Rocket, and it will tell you all of the keywords that book comes up for, all of the keywords associated to that book. Now, will it show you the 7 back-end keywords? You don't know if it's the back-end keywords. There's a lot it's going to give you, like tons. If it's a very popular book, you're probably going to get lines and lines and lines upon a spreadsheet to go through. If it's the less popular book, you're probably going to maybe get like a single page, about a dozen or so keywords. It just depends on the popularity and how many sales are made, and of course the keywords that are associated with that specific book. This was a game changer for me. I actually got beta access to this about a few weeks ago, and so I got to play around with it quite a bit, and it's really neat because you can find somebody within your niche, plop it in there, and see all the associated keywords. And this is going to help seed out what you want to put in your 7 backend keywords, what you want to put organically within your description, what you want to put within your A+ content inside text-based modules. There's so much power in this reverse ASIN search. It saves you a lot of time. Like this right here, I wish Publisher Rocket had it years ago, but I'm really glad to see that they finally rolled that out. If you'd like to get your hands on Publisher Rocket, and if you haven't had it already, please go on over and visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/rocket and get access to that today. And if you already have access to Rocket, all you got to do is just fire it up. It will probably cue you to go ahead and get it updated, and then you'll go ahead and have that new feature. Moving on forward, fine folks over at Barnes & Noble Press want to share something unique to you. Nothing encapsulates the coziness of fall better than the crisp pages of a book you've penned yourself. Ready to take your book to the next level? This month, Barnes & Noble Press introduces ground wood paper, adding the perfect touch of weight and elegance to your book. So, you're probably saying, what's the deal with ground wood paper? Well, you might recognize that name from back in 2020 or 2021 when IngramSpark rolled out that feature. There was a supply shortage of paper out there, so they ended up leaning on this lower cost, thinner paper called groundwood paper. And it's cheaper to manufacture, it's a little lighter, so it is an option that you can take advantage of. Now, so this is not surprising that Barnes & Noble Press is taking advantage of this, because you know, or do you know, who fulfills print fulfillment? Who fulfills print books through Barnes & Noble Press? Lightning Source. Who owns Lightning Source? Ingram Book Group. Ingram Book Group is also the ones that are distributing books for IngramSpark, KDP's expanded distribution, Draft2Digital, and so on. Now, the only places you can get Groundwood before was in IngramSpark. You couldn't get it in the other places. You can get over in IngramSpark, and now you can get it at Barnes & Noble Press. So really cool. Go over to press.barnesandnoble.com and get yourself set up with an account. All right, I'm going to give a couple plugs because, boy, I've been a busy boy. I'll tell you what, because I've had a lot of books that have been rolling out. In fact, I actually just rolled out just before I went on vacation advertising for books. You guys can go ahead and pick up yourself a copy here relatively soon. Right now, if you'd like to, go on over to daylinks.com/adsbook to get your ebook or print book available in most online retailers. I am really, really pumped about some of the early reviews that are coming in, and I think you're going to enjoy this book. If you are lost when it comes to Amazon ads, this is the book for you. To be clear, it is about Amazon advertising. I'm just not using the Amazon name because there's a headache behind all that. Now, during the promotion, though, I did get my rounds here. I did a nonfiction showcase with authors, and it was a 4-hour broadcast. And I understand if you didn't go and watch that, and if you don't feel like going to the 4 hours, Ross Brand, my co-host, actually launched a whole summary piece about what you could learn from each of the nonfiction authors. There's over 20 nonfiction authors sharing insights in the inaugural nonfiction showcase. I anticipate we'll probably do it again sometime in the near future, but 4 hours, I'm not so sure. But you want the TLDR, go over and read Ross's piece. Moving a little further forward, I just started a new podcast segment with the Alliance of Independent Authors, where I'm actually going to be talking about branding, marketing, and promotion. And every month, I'm going to be speaking to a guest expert. In this past week, I actually interviewed Diane Valere. And Diane Valere is a mystery author, and she has great insights. She actually put out a great book about promotion. I think it was called Promophobia, taking the mystery out of promoting crime fiction. But even if you're not writing crime fiction, read this book because it's not just for crime authors. It's just super, super insightful. But you're going to get a deep dive into that in the 35-minute interview that I did over on Ally. And speaking of Ally, actually, as one door opens, another one closes. Unfortunately, the Reaching More Readers podcast segment that I've done for the past year is running its 12th and final episode with my co-host, Holly Greenland, where we're actually going to be talking about promoting your book wide. Yes, publishing wide. So you guys know I'm a big fan of wide publishing. You're going to get more details in this nearly half-hour chat with Holly. It was very insightful. Get ready to take some notes on that one. And I was also on Hidden Gems Books over on YouTube, where we were talking about AI writing and some artificial intelligence. And this is actually a very deep conversation. And we pull out our tinfoil hats and spout some conspiracy theories and such. Remember, folks, take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes I'm just riffing and such. But Hidden Gems Books, if you're not familiar, they are an ARC review service, an advanced reader copy team service where you can get advanced reviews for your book through Hidden Gems. I didn't know they had a podcast until I applied for it, and they reached out to me. I'm like, wait, you guys are the Hidden Gems Books I know about. So this was a fantastic conversation. Went for about 50 minutes. You're going to get some great deep insights into the world of Hidden Gems Books and some of the conversation that we had with Craig and Roland. It was so much fun. We had a few laughs and had some really deep conversation about artificial intelligence. And speaking of interviews as well, I talked about book sponsorships over on the Indie Author Podcast with Maddie Dalrymple. If you would like to learn how I was able to pay myself a significant advance for part of my a series that I have right now, actually the eight parts of the 12 parts, you're going to want to go over and take a look at Maddie Dalrymple's podcast, the Indie Author Podcast. Boy, we went deep. And I'm going to tell you this right now. You do not need to be a famous author. And in fact, Maddie and I break down how every author could be able to take advantage of sponsorships for their books. Go on, take a look at that one right there and give it a listen. You can also take a look at Indie Author Podcast at every major online podcasting platform and listen in on that specific one. And last shout out here for Book Award Pro. Look, folks, I already gushed about them so much. Find legitimate reviews and awards. Their unique AI system, their proprietary algorithm actually curates the best opportunities for awards and reviews that you could possibly get on the market today. I've been using them for the past few years. I have already collected over 33 book awards across 7 publications, and it continues to grow because I continue to use Book Award Pro. You want to take a look at them over at dalelinks.com/Book Award Pro today. Try out their free plan. And, by the way, peek at their review section there from time to time because you might find some free stuff. Again, I don't want to get all off on that path there. Did I miss any news over the last couple of weeks? I know I took a little bit of time off. My apologies. Let me know over inside the Discord chat over at dalelinks.com/Discord. All authors are welcome to come on over there. We've got over 1,000 active authors there. Yeah, active. It's not just 1,000 people sitting on their thumbs. This is a super active Discord place. If you ever want to get direct access to me, it's probably one of the best ways to do is go over to Discord. Again, dalelinks.com/Discord. Till later, it's been Self-Publishing with Dale. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I'll catch you next. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.